We'll find out if we're here.
I think we're partially there.
I know. The thing is we have to remember to look ahead and not to our left.
That's true.
Where all of our equipment is, or it's going to be an entire thing of just the sides of our face. I don't actually know if I'm here until my existence is validated by others. And I'm following the chat with a completely different system. So I might not even know if you validated my existence. I don't have a clue. Let me see if I can remember how we do this. We took a week off. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help Kingsters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream. We'll record our podcast, the audio version of which hits all major podcast apps every Friday. We are here 8 minutes early. Oh, shush. Shut up. Okay, there we go. I got to do something about that. We are here 8 minutes early. If you were here for the live stream and you don't like idle chit chat, you got several minutes to get a snack, get a drink, go to the bathroom. I don't know, whatever you're doing in your life. If you're here after the live stream, but before I put in timestamps and you don't like idle chit chat, fast forward by about 8 minutes. Okay, let me fix this. We did get an ad, so there's like a tenth of a penny. But
Yeah,
I
got one too.
I gotta put this shit on mute.
Yeah, you do.
I know I've never had to do this before. But I have to get through the ad first in order to do that.
You do.
Oh, this is gonna be... be quiet. There we go. Okay. Now, how do I do that? This is where I'm going to be an old lady, y'all. This is not how I usually do any of this.
Not how you normally roll, is it?
Not at all. Okay, I think we're good. I think I got it. Okay, I'm going to say hello to folks. Now, here's the other kind of, I got to look down, because the alternative is I pull my phone up, and then you're looking at the back of my very sad, janky-looking, what is the thing that I'm trying to call it? Phone case. That's no fun. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Hi, Freckled Awesomeness. Hi, Kim. Hi, Eva. Hi, Silent. Is it Peter? It's PEDRCK, and I thought I knew who you were, and so I was going to say Peter, but if I got it wrong, like, tell me. Y'all know how I am about names. I hate screwing it up. Hi, Eva. Hi, Leah. It's growling. Hi, Little Sloth. Hello. If you did not watch our test stream yesterday, ta-da! We've changed everything
Surprise!
around. And we're not actually done with the changes.
No.
Background will change at some point. I'm not like putting a timestamp on that. Thank you. Okay, Peter. I thought it was you, but yeah, you know how I am. And Silent. I think it was Silent yesterday made the suggestion about the lovelier mics,
yes,
which had been on our list, but then I sent all of my links over to JB, and now it's on his list.
Yeah.
And then he elbowed, I think. Was it my mic you elbowed, or was it your own mic you elbowed?
Both.
Right, and so he feels very strongly about
Yeah.
lavalier mic.
I had actually already started looking into it last night with the links you sent. So
yeah, I figured you had.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's time to move up in the world a little bit.
It is. It is. It only took us a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: we do make shifts we have made shifts over the years in the podcast. Most of those shifts were not visual. There were sound equipment that when we were just audio. The biggest shift we made visually was to go visual. But we have moved around over the years and had different places to sit.
Well, actually, we did change some of the camera equipment because we started out with the webcam.
Oh God, that's right.
Remember the webcam?
Yes, I know. I hated every second of that.
You did, and then we got the Canon.
And we need to play with the settings on that. Silent, that is correct.
That's a good point.
Silent says, when we do hangouts, don't forget to have the mic on when you go to the bathroom. Oh, that
could be interesting.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. I think now that's going to be like my fear, my nightmare fuel, that I will forget that. I mean, unless there's either an easy mute or off thing, or we get into the habit of we unclip before we
and set it to the side, especially if that's what we're going to do.
Especially then, yeah.
Yep.
For sure. So, yeah. What else? It's all awkward because we're not
Mm-hmm.
used to it. What else? I thought there was more I was going to say, but there's not. I'm very warm
And I
today.
bumped the air.
I know.
I bumped it
It's
down
just-
2 degrees from what it was.
Is this room just hold on to
Yeah.
heat? I mean, is it on a sort of extended goal list to get all of the windows in the house?
Yes.
The place we have 2 major goals for the house, and it's a third one is a stretch goal. So the 2 major goals are to replace the roof because it's about that time needs to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and to replace the windows because whew, yeah, that they just need to be replaced. The stretch goal is I say stretch goal like stretch goal within the next 12 months. But it's gonna happen at some point. It has to.
Yeah.
Is to redo our bathrooms.
Yeah.
So, but the roof and the windows we might actually feel cool in this room
I know,
with the
right?
AC on,
Yeah.
and warm with the heat on in the winter.
Huh. Imagine that.
I know. Who knew? Silent asked if the table debate has been settled, side versus like a coffee table.
Yeah.
No,
No.
we need
Myself,
something.
myself, I would, at this point, I would say I'd rather, especially when we go, when we go to the lavalier mics, a little side table.
Yeah, it needs
on
something
each-
for the drink.
Yeah, one on each side.
No, okay, because you like
No.
being this close to me.
Yeah.
You don't want a table between
No.
us. Aww.
Change the shot.
It would. It would. Hi, Dorina. Oh, and Silent, you are our resident. Make sure we're not too crooked. We think we put the camera back exactly like yesterday.
Mhm.
Is anything crooked? Or just offset? I think crookedness we should be fine because you locked that position.
Oh, I've locked that son of a
Right.
bitch down tighter than
But,
it ain't never coming off again.
which means I will not try to turn the little handle thing. But we could also be too far one way or this
Yeah.
way. So, not by much. It would be
No.
by like,
Minuscule.
yeah. But, Silent is a woman after my own heart, and she freaking notices that stuff.
Hey, thank you,
I know, right?
because I sure wouldn't notice it unless it was so
I know.
blatant.
Well, it's the only spatial trick I have. I can't tell you how far away something is. I can't tell you how long or wide or none of that. None of that. But I can look at something and tell you if it is straight on the wall or not, or if it is crooked. Okay. Silent says it's ever so slightly higher on JB's side, but it's not noticeable like yesterday. Okay, well, when I watch back, because I got to put timestamps in, if I notice it, we'll have to adjust it. Oh, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. That's what I say. That's what I say. I guess I'm just me saying a lot.
Yeah.
It's mostly weird. I prefer to just be staring at the camera as much as possible. Even though I know when we had the table between us and the
Excuse me,
monitor,
folks.
I had to look down a lot, and I hate that. But now it's my phone in my hand,
Mm-hmm.
which is a dangerous thing. This is my fidget.
Better have that reading app closed. You're going to be in trouble.
I finished a book this morning and purposely did not start another one. Mostly because I have to start a whole new series, and that means I have to shift my whole brain away from the series I was just in. Which is an incomplete series, but I'm not mad because the books are standalones. It just has a specific thread going through them. So, and I read this author's series out of order. I read her most recent series that still has a book coming out in a couple months first, and it was fine. I didn't need to read the first series. But now I've read the first series, which there still is at least one book that needs to come out but does not have a projected date. But, like, that's the universe my head is in, and so I know when I start a new book, I have to say goodbye to that universe, because I will not remember shit, okay? I've got a couple of series that they're standalones, but there's a continuity thing, and I've got a couple of them that have books that are coming out in the next couple of months, and I'm like, oh, shit, I hope I can, like, remember what the hell was going on in this series.
I'm reading a book right now, a series, and believe it or not, I don't like any of the characters.
Like, they're annoying, or they're written to be unlikable, or...
It's a little bit, they're kind of written to be unlikable, but, to me, normally I at least find one character in a book
Sure.
that I kind of like, yeah, this is my person here.
Right,
This is,
I'm rooting for that person. Yeah.
No one in this series.
But the story is good
the
enough.
story is good.
Okay.
It makes Game of Thrones look like a walk in the
Oh,
park.
so everybody's an asshole. Okay. Okay. I got it. Okay, it is 3:01. We will get started officially.
Okay.
As you can tell from the title, we're doing a BDSM Reddit response reaction. I never know what the hell to call these things, so just go with it. Did I pick a couple where, yes, the whole point is to get my blood pressure up so that hopefully there's some ranting? Of course I did. And one of them, the ultimate answer is super obvious, but then my nerdy little brain like picked up on a couple of details and went, oh no, I have other thoughts too. So we have to do that. This is why we have to do that. If you enjoy this, we haven't scared you off yet, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And go ahead and ring that notification bell to get updates and new content.
Ring My Bell is now playing in my head. If you really like what we do, you want to help us keep being weirdos on the internet and getting up to hijinks, while also getting access to our Discord server and extra content. You could join us on Patreon, patreon.com/KaylaLords. You join for as little as $2 a month. We've got our Discord server. We do a game night, a movie night. We have a behind-the-scenes podcast, audio-only episode. You go higher than $2, there's extra perks that I am behind on for March because, well, I just am. So we'll double up for April. So yeah, patreon.com/KaylaLords, or the link is down below. You can click buttons now.
Okay, one thing I want to do before I click button.
Oh, thank God you're into the fan.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because while I have zero desire to ever let the internet see me in a swimsuit, we're about to get, I was ready to be like, can I get away with like a bikini top? I know I can't. I could. I mean, you could do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But
All right, you
no.
ready?
Sure.
And away we go.
Okay, before we get into potential ranting, real quick, where the hell were we last week? So, for podcast listeners, this should not affect you, but it definitely did. Right after, 2 weeks ago, I guess, yeah, that Wednesday live stream, Thursday morning, YouTube put us in the corner. It gave us a community strike. We should win it on appeal. We did not. You could still win an appeal ages after you submit it, but they did not get to an appeal in order to cut short our timeout. Our timeout was for a week. So we knew we couldn't do a live stream the following Wednesday. That was last week. And so we went, why don't we just take a break? We'll just take a week off. So we didn't even record an audio podcast.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube gave us the strike also the day before that Friday night live stream.
Yeah.
So that sucked. And then JB had plans for the following Friday when YouTube would let us stream, but
yeah, I made plans prior to all.
He had plans, so I was not going to like bat my eyelashes or do any guilty bullshit. Be like, can't we just just go have fun? I will sit on the couch in my comfy clothes and read my book.
Yeah, see?
So that's where the hell we were. And then once we called it a break, I treated it like an actual break. I didn't send out a newsletter. I, didn't do a whole lot online except to complain about not being out of the corner, that kind of stuff. So if you were like, where's the episode? Where's the video? Where was the live stream? Blame YouTube. Blame YouTube. Just blame YouTube. That's what I'm going to do, is blame YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us get into the very first Reddit post.
Okay.
Are you fucking kidding me, Reddit? I had it pulled up and ready to go, and the Reddit app just relaunched and said, no, I don't want to be here anymore. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
This one is a long one, so pardon me on this one. Dom keeps pushing things too far, and I don't know what to do. I've been with my daddy since around November of last year. It was a long-distance relationship at first, but he recently moved to my city. Overall, it's been a great relationship. He treats me like a proper princess and has been a good communicator in general. But I'm really struggling with this one thing that keeps happening in the bedroom, and I don't know if it's enough of a red flag that I should bail. Daddy likes to spank me, and in general, I like spankings, but I have a couple of long-term health conditions that impact my stamina for impact play. It can just exhaust me and overload my nervous system before we even finish, so I have a handful of rules for Daddy when it comes to spanks, and he has broken them. The rules are pretty minor. We have an agreed upon hardness level, and I don't want him to go over 20 spanks in a given session. 15 to 20 is my sweet zone where I get what I need to, out of it without being too tired to keep playing. The first time this happened, we hadn't really talked through specifics, and he ended up giving me something like 50 spanks. It was at the end of a long day and on a work night, and I got pretty pissed at him for pushing things that far on a work night, knowing my conditions. We talked it out, and I laid down the ground rules above. We had a couple practice sessions, even to make sure he knew how hard I wanted it. Then last night, after we'd been out to dinner with friends, one of whom is a recovering alcoholic, so nobody was drinking, we came back to my place exhausted. I asked if he wanted to stay for some playtime, but figured he knew I wouldn't want anything too intense or drawn out. We made out for an agonizingly long time, and then he took me upstairs and started spanking me. It was harder than what we'd talked about, and he just kept going well past 20. I stopped him somewhere around 25 to 30. He told me I was a good girl for stopping him, and I kind of lost my temper at that. Told him he was not being a good dom, that he should have remembered. He said he was sorry and that he hadn't been keeping count, and I told him he really should have been. He was apologetic and didn't really take ownership of what happened. He said he was still learning about me and my limits, and that he wanted to learn and was trying to do better. I don't feel like that's good enough when I've been extremely clear about those limits, and it's been a problem before. Once is a learning experience, but twice feels egregious. I told him it wasn't fair to expect me to keep being his practice dummy for learning how to read people and respect their limits when it's my safety on the line, that if the expectation was just for him to, quote, try, while this might still happen again, and that I'm just supposed to be patient while he abuses my body, that's unacceptable. I said he needed a concrete plan to ensure this never happens again for me to consider getting back into bed with him. He went home to think on things, and I went to bed. I'm still processing how I feel about this, but I'm curious how other subs would handle this situation. Of course, I want to maintain the relationship. If I want to maintain the relationship, there's plenty we could do to avoid this situation in the future. I could count while he spanks. He could check in more. We could sign a contract. But I don't know that I necessarily should be considering okay, hold on. Why can't I read? But I don't know that I necessarily should, considering the disregard he's shown my well-being in the bedroom. So what do you guys think? Should I give an inexperienced dom another chance, knowing it might lead to more hurt in the future, or should I just close the book on this one, wish him well, and cut my losses? I'm feeling really conflicted. There is an update, but I'm not going to read that until
after?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, we know the answer, but
Yeah.
you made a grunty noise, so please, go ahead.
Well, you know, just the fact that this person has this health condition, and they have to stay within those parameters.
And they made those parameters clear.
Quite clear in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only thing I would say on the other side of this, and it's such a minor thing,
mm-hmm.
you know, when talked about
when they got home
afterwards, and you know, there were in this person's mind expectations.
It was obvious, air quote that obvious, right, yeah.
You know, no, you know, you should, you know, hey, you know, it's a work night, so let's not do anything too extreme.
You got to be really clear.
Yeah,
you caught the exact thing I caught, because no, the sub should not have to expect to be their dom's practice dummy like that, right? So personally, by the second time, when you've had the conversations along the way about here's the number we need to stay in, and here's my threshold for intensity, you know, if this person was like, I don't trust you to, like, I think that's fair, and 100% would be like, yeah.
I mean, there might even be some incompatibility there too.
True.
You know, again, because everything is on a spectrum, right? He may need somebody that he can go harder on. Absolutely.
Or somebody, and here's the thing, it's possible that he needs a more experienced submissive. But that is, conjecture, because I
Sure.
don't know. Is he disregarding his sub completely? Is he truly just forgetting? The forgetting would bother me anyway, because it means you are not paying enough attention before you even start a scene to like kind of run down the parameters for future, right? Or I guess if you wanted to stay with this person, but in the future, what I would probably suggest is before every scene, there's clear conversation, clear communication.
Right.
Yes, you're going to remind, hey, 15 to 20, hey, don't forget my intensity level, right? Especially when you're new to kink in general, but you're new to each other. There's not a damn thing wrong with kind of going over it multiple times until it does become a little bit of muscle memory.
And let's face it, I think if I remember correctly, they were long distance.
They started out, and then he moved to her city.
He moved, and we know all too well. A lot of times, just because you erase that difference doesn't mean everything goes smoothly.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm not impressed with him because once it went wrong the first time, then it was on him for sure as the Dom, and I can understand an inexperienced Dom not knowing this, but it was on him to make sure it didn't happen again.
Right.
Now, the life lesson for the submissive going forward is when you're playing with somebody new, you don't assume they know where you're at. You get it real freaking clear. And, I get it. I know there are some subs out there who'll be like, oh, well, it takes the spontaneity away. It takes the excitement away. I mean, yeah, but having somebody, like, cross your boundaries is a type of spontaneity and excitement that nobody asked for and wanted. So maybe stay on the side of caution, err on the side of caution, and just say it again and be very clear. Like, just so you know, yeah, I'm definitely down for whatever, but here's my energy level. Here's what I think I can handle. Please remember, 15 to 20, blah, blah, blah. You're not topping from the bottom to reiterate those limits. Doms should not get, their feelings hurt or their panties in a twist when their sub is like, hey, you might not be used to playing with somebody with health conditions. I get it. This is not top of mind for you yet. Now, then it is incumbent on that dominant to make it top of mind for themselves. Does that maybe take time? Does that take tools like something in your notes app, or a reminder, or a checklist, or whatever? Yeah, but that's part of it for anybody you're playing with, but especially somebody who's like, I got health issues, and we have to be careful because it absolutely will impact my health.
I give this person credit for speaking up.
Yes,
once he
I
got
love
to
that.
25, 30, that was over, and said, hey, you got to stop.
Right, exactly.
I give her credit for that, not just sitting there and taking it.
100%. And I think that I don't think I could play with somebody who fucked it up twice. Once I'd be real leery. Once the trust would still have to be rebuilt, but by the second time, and oops, I'm just learning. I mean, that, here's what kills me. That can be factually true, but that is not a reassurance that somebody whose own health and safety has been disregarded. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything. Like, okay, sure, I guess that's actually true, but what have you done to show you actually gave a crap about me as a human to make sure you did not fuck this up? Yeah. But for the sub, for the future, for anybody else, do not be afraid to go, okay, let's check in real quick. Just a reminder. Just, don't forget. It's because, quite frankly, if you're giving those reminders and the first time they fuck it up after you've said it explicitly, that'll be information to use and decide if you want to stay there or not.
Right.
But that was the thing I noticed, was the assumption, oh, he would know. I didn't. Yeah. Nah. Sadly, clearly, no, he would not.
Right. Yeah.
But it's, in general, just, I mean, after all these years together, you can usually tell when I'm, like, exhausted or wiped or whatever. Yeah. And even then, we're still going to take, like, half a second to go, I'm tired. I don't know how much I can handle, or, I don't have a lot of energy for. And it's just sort of part of the conversation, and we go on. Now, the update. Update. Thanks everyone for your kind advice and the sound reality checks dropped in the comments below. I have decided to block this person after receiving the following air quote apology text later this morning. Quote, I'm sorry for last night, baby. Truly, I didn't mean for a couple of spanks too many to ruin what was otherwise a really nice evening. I promise you there was no intent for a long scene. I hope we can talk soon. Well, good on this person on the sub for being like, you gotta go. This could lead into the intent versus impact conversation. Like, you could have the best of intentions, but if your impact harms somebody, who gives a fuck about your intentions? Right. Well, I intended to drive to work safely, but I caused a 10-car pileup. But that's not my fault. I was trying. I meant to go to work safely. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the update, which is nice. It's nice to see because too often we don't find out if they like did the thing that we thought they should do. Okay, next one. Okay. Come on, Reddit, load. Okay. Toy versus sub, question mark. Hi, everyone. I'm new to this subreddit in particular. I'm kind of new still to this lifestyle as well. I, 30 female, just ended things with my long-distance-ish dom, 30 male. We are both poly, and he has a wife and a girlfriend already. I had met them both. They're lovely. Now, on to the issue. Sir and I had been talking and agreed on hard limits and had been discussing things around what we viewed our dynamics to be like and how we could make things work with each other. However, what he never sat down to talk to me with was rules and expectations. It got to the point where I felt like I was becoming just a toy for him. And yes, I did fall in love with him. He never said we were platonic or anything romantic explicitly, so there was room for assumption, and that's my fault for not clarifying beforehand. Two nights ago now, I had asked for clarity on what we were outside of our dynamic. I was just wanting to know because of boundaries with his wife and girlfriend. So he told me really close friends, and obviously it hurt me. Then he turned around and, without thinking, said he was going to propose to said girlfriend. It felt like a slap in the face. So I do what I normally do and withdraw to internalize. I didn't talk to him for about 14 hours. Spoke with him the next morning. He knew something was up because I was quiet, and I exploded on him. I didn't yell, though, just let everything out. He looked horrified, but then tried to cop out. I instantly knew I was going to fight with him because he never took accountability for any of it and tried to say I knew what I was getting into, that we were just friends in a dynamic, and I told him that we had no prior discussion, that he said he wanted me and he loved me. We had been talking for a while prior to getting into this relationship. I got so upset, and he goes, "You broke it off with me." And I never said those words. He assumed. So it ended then, and he goes, "Why would my commitment change because of a label?" I said, because I need to know precisely where I stand due to old trauma and wounds I'm working through. And I said, your girlfriend already made it clear that no one else can be your girlfriend but her. So I will not overstep. He goes, "But I want you. What we're called is irrelevant to me." I said, "But it matters to me," and that's where the conversation ended. Another dominant friend of mine said he got the ick from my ex-dom's behavior with all this and was angry on my behalf. So I guess I'm asking, was I too naive and Sir picked up on it and used me? Is this a bad example of a, air quote, dom wanting a toy, not an actual person to care for? I'm confused and hurt, but I know I won't go back. My position in his world was made clear. I think this is a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
I think everybody was talking at each other, and nobody was talking to each other.
Right.
That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
You made sounds over there. What's on your mind?
You know, I just, listening to it, it was like...
Oh, another one.
Yeah.
Another one.
There they go again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there is... I can't blame this person for wanting... Some people need labels.
Right, exactly.
And... I mean, labels were very important to me in the beginning because it gave me something to gauge by.
Sure.
Now not so much.
Mm-hmm.
But, for somebody in a relationship, it's like kind of, yeah, I mean, what are we? What,
But, I agree. I think So that's what some people want and need, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think what you do is you go, hey, can we have a conversation? Hey, we never really did talk about this. The lesson going forward for this person is have the conversation at the beginning as you start negotiating this relationship and what the hell you're going to be doing. What does it mean to you? What do you want out of it? What are you looking for?
You're looking for a play partner. You're looking for,
Right. Like what are you hoping to get out of this? Now, of course, people being people, it can evolve and feelings can change, and in a perfect world, sure, it changes in the same way on both sides, and ta-da, now we're happy for now, happy ever, whatever. But one, that's not always going to happen, and two, I think this person, the submissive in this, would have benefited from expectation management from the start. So they've learned a pretty painful lesson, I would imagine, that do not make assumptions, do not let the conversation go unsaid. The moment you're like, wait, what are we? What do we want to be? What are we working towards here? Just talk about it. There was something else. I did find this a little, maybe I'm reading into it. So the very first thing she says is he has a wife and a girlfriend. I'd met them both. They're lovely, right? Mm-hmm. And then later we get down and let's see if I can find it. Him proposing to his girlfriend felt like a slap in the face. Well, one, that's a separate relationship from you. So the feelings he has for the girlfriend have nothing to do with you and are not an indicator of anything going on in your relationship. That is the next level, which I have questions because he's married, or depending on where you're located, it's not, as far as I know, legal to have more than one spouse, but maybe something's changed. But it could also be symbolic. Like, let me show you how close we are. Maybe it's going to be like a non-legal ceremony. So that was one thing. Could
be like a collaring ceremony or something like that.
Could be a hand fasting, something that does not require an actual marriage certificate. So that was my first thing is, okay, that relationship has nothing to do with y'all's relationship. So that sounds a bit like some envy going on, that somehow the girlfriend, who was already there and established and had a history, was, air quote, getting something that this submissive was not. And I wonder if there was some envy there, because you remember, top paragraph, they're lovely. Then we get the, oh my gosh, she's proposing to the girlfriend, and that feels like a slap in the face. Yeah. Which was, that I'm going to say, that was not what that man was intending. He was like, this is my girlfriend, I'm going to do this. Yeah. And then we get to, I want to find it, of that his girlfriend had said that nobody else could be his girlfriend. Yeah. And look, I know non-monogamous relationships come in all flavors and styles, and that there are times that's how things get negotiated. And if you can make it work and everybody's actually happy, great. But what? So then the girlfriend was dictating the other relationship as well? Yeah. I'm wondering if the person who submitted this really thinks the girlfriend is lovely, air quote, at the end of all of this. Because just with two examples, I'm like, there was some friction there. Yeah. And is it because maybe this guy does not communicate clearly with any of his fucking partners? That wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. That really would not surprise me at all.
And yet, at the same time, if this person is looking on this girlfriend with envy, with jealousy, that's a little self-work that person needs to do in regards to poly.
True. Well, jealousy and envy are part and parcel, because we're humans, and you will see somebody having something that you wish you yourself had, and you will have your feelings about it. I think what it sounds like is that this person wanted more than their dominant partner was willing to, wanted to, and could give them. I find it so strange that they didn't speak to their partner for 14 hours. I do not recommend that in general. Yeah. I mean, even a quick text to go, look, I got some stuff on my mind. I need to think through it. I need to, just so you know, I highly recommend that. So don't love that they didn't speak to the person for 14 hours, but I really don't love that the dom was like, oh, this means we're broken up now, I guess. Like, what? What?
It sounds like they all have their own things going on.
Hot mess express is what we are looking at right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, there's too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Would love to know, like, what's going on with the wife. Is all well there? Like,
Right.
I don't know. You know, ultimately, this person needed to have the conversation. What are we? Where are we going? What are we trying to do? I think they should have been honest. If maybe they were, I did not read it here.
Mm-hmm.
When they developed feelings for their dom, and I'm reading this as, and it could just be this person not explaining it well, as they developed feelings, and instead of going, hey, I'm having some feelings, they were like, so what are we? And then they didn't get the answer that they wanted. Which, yeah, that's devastating. That hurts. That sucks. That makes you have to go, is this where I want to be? Is this the right relationship for me? It's valid to need time to think about that, but it does not feel like at any point leading up to that there was any clear communication.
No.
Apparently from the girlfriend, because she was like, nobody else gets to be your girlfriend. I know, I'm sure there's some poly people who make that kind of thing work. And I have made statements. We've had these conversations that I'm better now, but I don't like the idea of somebody else calling you daddy, because that feels very special to me. But I would not say you could not have a daddy-dom relationship with anybody. And we did have this conversation ages ago. If it was important enough to somebody else to use that title, I'd have to like sit with it. There'd have to be conversation. I think at this point in my life, I don't think I would gatekeep a title. I think I'm confident enough in myself and in us that I'd be like, okay, fine. Would there be a little tiny part of me on the inside that was, for me personally, that went, I don't like that? Sure. But, so I get people having like things they don't want to have happen, but I do not understand if you are the girlfriend of a person and that person is now seeing somebody else, how you can dictate that person could not be your girlfriend as well. Like that, for me personally, that feels like a step too far. But I'm sure people make that work. And that's great for you. That's great for you. Okay. Can you believe that I actually wish I could put my damn phone down? I'm like, doing this from the phone thing, I don't know how I feel about it. Okay, next one. Punishment or play? ? So I'm in a DS dynamic where I'm 100% his good girl and submissive. Think princess submissive. He's the first dom I have been so naturally submissive with. In the past, I have dabbled with DS, but I always lean towards bratting. With him, I just want to obey and give him all the control. The feeling is very new for me. However, the other day we were playing around and I started to tease him about something. I wouldn't let up and he said that I was begging for a spanking. We don't generally do hard stingy impact as I prefer a deep thud, so a hard spanking would definitely be a punishment. I loved it. It was still hard to withstand and definitely felt like a punishment, but I want more. He loved seeing me that red and loved watching me squirm as well. I asked him afterward if that meant he wanted the brat back. He said he loved it, but if I liked it that much, is it really punishment? I assured him it was, and he said he wants it in his back pocket for a punishment if needed, but that he doesn't want me to brat. He wants me as his good girl. So where do we go from here? Just wait for me to mess up before we can go there again, or possibly talk about incorporating it into play and not just punishment? I'm torn, but it was so hot and exhilarating. The adrenaline was intense, but did that come from the fact that it was punishment or just the feeling of being spanked like he did?
Okay. I don't even know where to go. I don't even...
So the first thing that comes to my mind is, instead of twisting ourselves into knots about how do I get this experience again, just say, hey, I'd like this experience again. You don't have to be as abrasive as I am. Be a cutesy princess submissive. It's fine. It's fine. So that would be the first thing I would say. Stop trying to like go, how am I going to have this experience I want? How do I make this happen? Nope, 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 nope. Say, hey, can we incorporate this? And have the conversation about what that looks like when that happens, blah, blah, blah. And then the other part of that conversation has to be, okay, I don't want that to necessarily be just only in the back pocket as punishment. Yes, maybe, if it can, because sensation does make a big difference between what you like and what you don't like. Yeah. As somebody who does not like stingy, that certainly gets it a lot. And so I think that could be a punishment he pulls out when it feels appropriate. Mm-hmm. But also, if it's done as a punishment, he could change that up with just the tone of his voice, the expression on his face, the words he uses, so that it is clearly more of a punishment. And you could then separately negotiate, hey, I want a scene like that. I want to do that. Now, is it a thing you want it to come from out of nowhere? Do you want, maybe look into punishment where you get a little playful and both of you know that the point is to end up there? Sure, go for it. But the part that I get a little stuck on, because I think how do I get a sensation and a scene that I want? Ta-da, talk about it. Yay. Okay. Here's the thing. She kind of wants to brat, and he kind of doesn't want a brat. He just wants his good girl. Yeah. First of all, that's valid. That is 100% valid. Mm-hmm. But I'm injecting myself in this one because I see myself in this one just a little bit, because it's the reason I refuse the brat label, because at my core, I am a good girl. At my core, I want to do what you tell me to do. I mean, do I have opinions and things to say, and do I think I'm hilarious? Of course I do. Am I playful? Of course I am. And so, since the way she talks about this is that she wants to be a good girl, ultimately, I think it's more of a conversation about the playfulness. Because there are levels to bratting. And if she already doesn't have the desire necessarily, she wants, if what she wants is to really, at the end of the day, be the good girl, then there's a playfulness that can come out. Sure. A sassiness, if you will. And to me, the conversation really would be, what do you think bratting is? Like, what is it, right? And, hey, what if it's not, I don't go to that level, but what about this? Right. And I think it's an awkward conversation. If this person is even a little bit like I am with it, I cannot predict what is going to come out of my mouth, or what I'm going to try and make a joke about, or when I'm going to be playful, or how I'm going to be playful. So I'm not 100% sure how I would, air quote, negotiate that one. But I think we all, ideally, if you know you have this in you, maybe you have a sense of who you are. I think if I was negotiating it, air quote that, from scratch with you, I'd say, okay, look, I'm kind of snarky. I'm kind of sarcastic. I think I'm hilarious. I find this fun. Can we try this? Have you seen me like this yet in other aspects? Could I direct it at you? Ultimately, she has to respect if he's like, yeah, I don't want any of that. But I think it's worth a conversation, because they were playing around. She started to tease. He leaned into it. Right. And so maybe, and I don't want to make it sound like I think you should push or, air quote, convince a partner to do something they said they don't want to do. But I do think if you get more nuance to it and you have a deeper conversation, would he be comfortable with every so often leaning into it, Yeah. And that every so often is probably going to be hard to predict. I love a code word or a sign of some sort to go, hey, this is a good time or this is a bad time kind of deal. Sorry. When JB gives me the signal that it's a bad time, are my feelings hurt? Of course they are. I don't like it because I was having a good time. And JB has now literally done a timeout signal. And I'm like, oh, okay. I hate this. But also I fucking do it because consent matters. So I'm curious if he had fun with that moment, if it's not really all or nothing. Because it's possible that he has a definition in his mind of what he thinks bratting is. And is that really her style of bratting? Is that really what she's even talking about?
It could be along the lines, same way as when a certain person a number of years ago asked me if I was a daddy dom. And I said, no fucking way.
I was like,
and
okay.
Where are we now?
Where are we now? And here's the thing. There's a delicate balance there, because I asked the question, JB said, hell no. In my head, I went, sure, Jan. But outwardly, I was like, okay, and I respected it, right? Like, I didn't push you.
No.
I didn't drop hints. I left it alone until there came a point where let me go out on a limb here. And we both discovered how right I was. But that's, that part's neither here nor there. So the respecting, his boundaries is important. Like, even if you suspect, hey, wait, I really think, as I learn you might actually enjoy this more than you think you do. But you have to kind of let somebody come to that on their own. You can't be, pushing them. But I do think it's worth the conversation of what he envisions as bratting that he wants to avoid, and what she envisions as being playful, and the conversation about, okay, you want to be my good girl. How would this play into that?
Right.
Maybe that's my next TED Talk of how you could be a good girl, but also kind of a little shit sometimes. Respectfully. Submissively. So, okay. I'm going to go into the next one. Is everything working okay over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this a long one? Oh my God, I'm sorry, y'all. I've just picked a lot of long ones today. This one is called A Very One-Sided Dynamic. My story is rather unusual. Introduction. I, 24 female, met my dom, 28 male, on a sex chat website 2 years ago. I was fresh out of college, about to start my first job. He travels constantly because of work, so it's been long distance for the most part. Backstory. Let me stop here. There's not going to be details, but content warning. There will be brief mentions of drug use and sexual trauma. No details that I'm recalling after I've already read through it, but if you want to just not even think about it, go ahead and nope on out. Okay, backstory. I was deep into the world of drugs when we met, had some sexual trauma from the past as I was groomed when I was 16 to 18, and then I'd spent most of my college years being tossed around like a rag doll from man to man. The dynamic. It was entirely focused on me and my growth. He made me start working out and eating right. He told me to go out and meet people so that I'd learn social skills and understand that not everyone was out to get me. Trauma makes you feel like the whole world is on fire. He told me to get on dating apps and find women like me so that I'd realize that other women have the same fantasies and that I'm not sick in the head. He built my confidence so that I could dress slutty and be comfortable in my skin. Even my friends noticed the transformation. I was dealing with complex office politics and a perverted boss, and he helped me navigate it. I got saved from a layoff. Because he was bringing the light back into my life, I was gradually able to leave drugs on my own, and the list goes on. The sex couldn't be any better. He taught me how to squirt. I couldn't even come without a vibrator before him. He brought out the slut in me. The problem, I really like how they've laid this out. The problem, I'm not progressing the way he wants me to. I still get triggered by certain things. I still suck at dealing with people. I still panic easily and fuck up. Not progressing much at work either, since AI is eating all the entry-level tech jobs. He's not happy with me, and I hate seeing him disappointed after all the time and effort he's put into building me up. And now the strange part. I don't know his name. I don't know what he does for a living. I don't even know what he looks like. He's been masked every time we've met. I don't know anything about him. He won't tell me because he doesn't want me to get attached. I know everyone's going to think that I'm crazy for trusting a man I don't know, but every single task he's given me has benefited me. He's not around most of the time, so it's not like he's using me for sex either. I wish he would. He makes me use an anonymous app for sending photos, and even those are without face. I'm the one asking to do crazy kinky things, and he's the one dialing it back because he says I'm not ready. He's right. There's no way in hell he would ever hurt me. And now I feel like all his efforts are backfiring. Now if I fail at something, not only have I failed, but I have also let him down. So I'm terrified to make mistakes. I've fucked up enough already. I don't just feel like a bad sub, but a bad human. But if I tell him this, then the dynamic comes to an end because he's made it clear that he's there to empower me and not just fool around. I'm trying. Meditation, can't afford therapy, running, meeting people, giving interviews, working really hard at the office, picking up lost hobbies, staying clean. I'm trying so hard to please him, but I just don't know what to do. And I understand not being able to afford therapy. God knows I get that. Yeah. But I don't think for all the air quote good that this person has done for her, it feels like we have replaced therapy with kink and that kink is now the therapy. And that is not sustainable.
No.
And that's not good for anybody.
That is not healthy.
No.
Because that is not healthy.
Because the kinkist therapy cannot actually help you, deal with, look at, investigate the internal stuff, the trauma that you've gone through, right. How you see yourself, how you see the world. There's no professional expertise behind it to help. It's just, hey, be the perfect sub, do the things I tell you to, and somehow magically your life is going to be better. And clearly that is not the case.
No.
So I would say to this person, please look for a therapist. And if you don't have insurance, ask about a sliding scale. See if you can get something like discounted. Are there group therapy sessions that, somebody offers? Those are not always great for like the in-depth, like private stuff you want to talk about. But then my understanding is those are typically less expensive per person than a private session. I mean, why would this person go looking for that when they think they have the dom who can help, quote, fix them?
Yeah.
You have no impetus to go look for a therapist or
don't.
get creative about how we pay for this. What do I go without to whatever? How do I handle this, And I don't want people to go without just to get some sort of care, but assuming they're in the U.S., this is the U.S., that's what you do sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Because I feel like this is the best. For all of the other details, don't worry, we're getting into that too. For all of the other weirdness in this situation, the fact that it has, air quote gone so well, is the fucking miracle. Because if you had told me about this person, we're getting there, we're going to talk about that fucking mask, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But if you had told me the details of who this person was and what they were doing, I would never have said that this person would have felt empowered or felt like they had gotten, air quote, better in any way. I'd have been like, oh my God, that's what is happening.
So what was it years ago? Had the masked comedian and now got the masked dom?
My God. There's a lot going on here. For her sake, I desperately want her to find therapy.
Yes.
Because what is happening is, I read through the comments on this one, because my supposition, and several people said it, and then the OP responded was, wait, did he say he'd be disappointed, or is this your trauma talking and you assume it? No. He indicated he would find it very disappointing. He'd be very disappointed in her. This woman has gone through, like, I can only imagine deep trauma to be addicted to drugs and have gotten yourself clean kind of on your own. I don't care what the masked man is doing behind the fucking curtain.
Right.
Like, and that kills me because they are capable of doing things. They had somebody kind of in the back pushing them or giving them the nudge or whatever, but they're the ones that did it. So they're the ones that are stronger than they realize. Right. But now they think they need this guy and his fucking approval, and the real world is still crashing down around their ears. The trauma is still fucking there.
Yeah, it's almost in a sense like she's using this dom as a crutch.
And he's allowing it.
Yeah.
And he's allowing it. And, okay. So we want her to, We want her to go to therapy. I certainly understand the idea of if I just, from a submissive perspective, if I just do what this person tells me to do, and I do it right and look, it works, and as long as I keep doing it, clearly I can get better. That no clearly there, but I see where the connections are made. Okay. So I think this kind of thing probably would, a person in her situation is probably more susceptible to a thing like this, but I would not be so arrogant as to say only somebody dealing with serious trauma and who needs help could fall for this. So let's just set aside her needs and her trauma, and my God, I hope she finds a therapist. He's a masked dom.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know he's not giving his name. When they meet up in person, he's wearing a mask. The moment I got to that line, I went, wait, is this fucking fiction? Is this, like, what? What? Can we just set a rule that maybe, if they will not show their face and they will not tell you their legal name, maybe we should not negotiate a power exchange where we give them that much control over who the fuck we are. Right. I don't care if in the beginning it's air quote worked out well, because here's the thing. This person, I imagine, is not a trained professional. A trained professional who cares about their license would not do shit like this. No. But because anybody with trauma is going to hit a wall at some point, and there's been no therapeutic care. Mm-mm. He's now, I think X said it, putting a deadline on self-improvement. And so now her sense of self-worth is wrapped up in a masked, nameless guy. And I get why she would, because it worked until it didn't. Except, did it really work, or did that put like a sheen over all the hard, yucky, dark stuff
a Band-Aid on an open wound.
Right. Masked and no name. And bumped my mic. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh my god. I mean,
I can see it for a scene.
For a scene, sure.
Yeah.
I could even see it when you meet somebody and that's like their shtick. I could see it if the guy is some kind of like pro-dom of some sort, and that's the act. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't like it. I would give it side-eye. I don't think it would be risk-aware, because we want to be able to point out a criminal in a lineup.
Right.
So maybe we know what the fuck they look like. Oh my god. Oh my god. And I do not say any of that to criticize our submissive in this. I think they were a vulnerable person, and this air quote dom went, perfect. I would love to know, did she question the mask? Or,
right.
You know? Yeah.
Who is that masked man?
Who is now... This is where the control that a dom gets is so precarious, because he gave her things to do, he gave her expectations that worked for her or seemed to work for her. So she found some level of self-improvement, and she's feeling better to some extent about some things. Clearly, trauma never really goes away. I mean, even when you do learn how to deal with it, there are still triggers, there's still panic from time to time. But now there's a dependence on this person helps me be better. I'm not better, and they're telling her they're going to be disappointed. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Rip the mask off. Give me his government legal name. Let us do a background search. I don't know how to do that. I'd have a friend do that. But still. Oh, my God. I would love to know what he said to sell that to her. Because what I'm thinking right now, I don't want to take away her agency or say that, she was too vulnerable to be able to whatever, but what kind of vulnerable position was she in? And how much had he, air quote, helped, that by the time they got to that point, she went, okay, or was there a discussion, and then how manipulative was he to, but somebody who's gone through just a tiny little bit of what you described and was still on drugs apparently at the time, that's a vulnerable person. That is a person who might not be making the best choices for themselves. And what is the long-term game for him? Is it as long as she's responding in the way that he wants, he'll stay around forever? Or was there a point he was gonna toss her to the side? And she's got this dependence on him now?
On him, that would send him into a spiral.
Right!
Yeah.
Right! So even if he thinks he's doing, air quote, good work here, and he thinks that this is, like, it clearly is not.
Right.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Look, I am impressed with this person if they pulled themselves up to the point that they're at, essentially on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck a dom who tells you what to do or whatever. I'm impressed with a person like that. That's amazing. It shows strength. It shows that you can do it, and what you actually need is professional help to get you to next levels. Not a masked, nameless dom. Now, Silent said, the thing that made me think, is this one real? And for me, that line was, I don't know his name, and I've never seen his face. Where the fuck would you meet?
Yeah.
Unless it's in the privacy of somebody's home, where there'd just be some guy with a mask on, just chilling at the coffee shop. I feel like people would notice that.
Or, I guess the thing.
Like, what kind of mask? So, of course, I'm thinking like Zorro or something.
Well, yeah.
I'm thinking Masker, and I'm thinking like Jason. I know. Was it just a N95? I don't know. If it's real, that's where to me I start going, wait, is this even fucking real?
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, did they meet at a dungeon and he was there? He had the mask on,
And it's like part of the shtick, right? The overarching lesson for anybody else, let's assume, whether this is real or not, is kink cannot be your fucking therapy.
No.
Because even if it looks like it's working in the short term, it is not actually working.
And it could end up doing more harm than good.
Exactly. Because you're not actually working through the trauma in the way that a professional...
In a healthy way.
The right person, the right professional could help you do. So even if it's fake, let's everybody take 2 lessons. Kink is not therapy. Kink does not replace therapy. Mm-mm. Kink can be therapeutic.
Yes.
Abso-fucking-lutely. There are definitely people who have, in conjunction with therapy and other things, worked through trauma in kink scenes, took back the control, or got to like almost rewire the brain a little bit and associate a thing with something positive instead of something negative. That's a thing that happens. Please, only under professional guidance. Please, my God. But kink itself is not therapy and cannot replace that. It cannot just fix you. And also, the second lesson is if they won't tell you their name and they won't show you their face, run. It's fine in the beginning when you don't know each other.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, we were faceless. Mm-hmm. You didn't know my legal name for a hot minute, right? But once you're down to negotiating a dynamic and there's a relationship,
then
nameless and faceless ain't it?
Yeah.
That is just like a bouquet of red flags being presented to another red flag holding a bouquet of it's just red flag fucking city where everything is a red flag.
The red flag parade?
Oh my fucking God. So, yeah, oh God, I hope it's fake. I hope it's fake. I hope it's fake. I hope it's fake. Okay. Next one. This one I think is interesting because I'm not sure there's an easy answer, but I think it's something that people must think about. So, here we go. Like, more than just this one person who's asking. It's fairness in rules and consequences. Context, me, Dom, set a list of rules that my wife, the submissive, must follow around our scenes and some outside, which have consequences if not followed. My side of the dynamic is easy, but recently one of the rules which have has commitment from, one side was broken. I didn't uphold our sex at least twice a week rule because of some personal stuff. I'm not making excuses, and she feels it isn't fair that I'm not held accountable in this dynamic, which I totally get. Now, we had a little chat with the view of getting some ideas together and discussing again. Now, we're exclusively dom and sub, but I'm pretty open to experimenting with being a switch, so I'm going to bring that to the table with ideas that we somehow incorporate a bit of, okay. The words aren't all making sense, and it's not me. I'm going to read it as it's written, that we somehow incorporate a bit of story into the idea that I'm bound to the commitment of dominating her, and failure to do that results in her having to punish me. So I guess he would switch and be submissive if punishment was needed. I guess my question is, how would you guys handle this, or have handled this in the past? I want her to feel even, and the rules really help take the guesswork out of our dynamic. Any other ideas? Also welcome. We have had this conversation before. We did a whole episode on accountability, because the question does come up. Well, I as a submissive have agreed to follow the rules, and if I don't follow the rules, there's consequences, there's punishment. So what happens if the dom does not follow the rules? Well, this is easy. They don't get to be your dom. Like that's the ultimate accountability.
Right.
But in this sense of, there was a rule we had in our relationship and I did not follow through, how am I held, as the dom, how am I held accountable? Now, I want to do that, but I can't gloss over the rule that got broken. We're supposed to have sex twice a week.
Yeah.
And personal stuff came up. First of all, am I gonna be kind of, I don't know if I'm gonna be like an old lady or a bitch or crotchety or old fashioned. I don't know. There are expectations in our relationship. There are things we agree to. There are agreements that we have of what we would like to have happen. I cannot imagine there being a rule that we both follow, and so if the dom, air quote, breaks the rule, the dom needs to be held accountable for it. You make the ultimate decisions. You we negotiate, you set rules, I agree to whether I can abide by them. You're like, this is how we're going to live our life. But ultimately, you're the one in charge of the fucking rules. So if a thing does not happen according to the agreement that we've set in our relationship, to me, that's not a broken rule. That is, you had to make a decision. Now, should there be communication about that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Of course.
Communicate
of
about
course.
it. But, I mean, that's just like one of those things. Life's going to rear its head.
That's the other thing. I don't think you should have a rule about how much fucking sex you're having in a week, because life is going to rear its head.
Right.
I mean, what if one of them was not, like, had a physical ailment and was just simply not in the mood for a week? You're supposed to go, doesn't fucking matter.
Now, I guess I'm curious, that rule, is it set days?
Or is it just twice within the week?
Or is it just, twice within the week at some point?
And see here, and again, I might be an old lady submissive who is, still in the 2000s. I don't know. The world does move on from you, and I can't follow every conversation Kinksters are having. But all I can think is, I can understand wanting, hoping for, looking forward to, in this case, sex twice a week. But the dom is in charge of that, yeah? I mean, ultimately, the submissive, you could agree that submissive can be like, hey, tonight, can we? Or that the initiation of sex is outside of your power dynamic. You can certainly negotiate that. But I think I'm deeply uncomfortable with these kinds of air quote rules being set for a dom. Expectations and understanding that the rule of being allowed to be a dom is respecting boundaries and, being risk aware and taking the responsibility on of the control and the power and the whatever. Those are, I guess we could call those rules. But there's a rule that everybody has to follow, but the person that, in this case, the dom that's in charge, I mean, my brain says the dom gets to decide if that's happening or not. Because that's the unless you negotiate it outside.
Right.
Right. A specific conversation. I mean, go ahead.
No.
I'm struggling over here.
Yeah.
And I could...
I know. I mean, to say, well, we're going to do this twice a week like that. There's so many things, I mean, come on. We both know, with you and I, there are times you may have a migraine.
Sure.
My back acts up. So,
Right. Right. I'm going to say, in general, I don't think a rule that would have consequences, let's put it that way, of sex or scenes or anything physical is going to happen a minimum of a certain, I understand wanting to have to create structure around that if you haven't been getting enough and you're like, okay, then we've got to set something in place so we have a better chance of succeeding at what we'd like to have happen. But that would be like, let's just say our submissive, the wife, she's on her period and it's like the worst period of her fucking life and she does not like period sex. Should she still have to have had sex the 2 times in the week and then be punished if she went, I'm on my fucking period and I'm miserable, get the fuck away from me? No, we all know that the answer to that is no, right? Like, I try not to think in universalities. Like, there's nuance and there's exceptions to everything. But if she was in a situation where she could not physically or would not physically, like, for whatever, and that's just a single example, just saying no is enough. I mean, y'all. And it doesn't sound like there's no detail here. Did they negotiate free use? And so he just initiates when, I say he, I don't know. The Dom initiates whenever. It just needs to be twice a week. But that's still his decision then.
Right.
Because he's the person is the Dom. So the breakdown is, there should have been communication of, there's stuff, I've got stuff going on. This is not going to happen this week. Doms have to be held accountable. But accountability for a Dom looks different if a submissive has agreed to punishment, consequences, because the accountability for the submissive is the consequence, right?
Right.
And we did this episode ages ago. I'll have to go find the link to it. It's ages ago. And it is a tricky thing because once the Dom has the control and the power, the accountability is they don't get to have the control and the power.
Right, that can be taken away.
And it could be that if that's the accountability that needs to happen, you might renegotiate and go, okay, you don't have control over this thing because, right, or you renegotiate and go, we're not doing this anymore, or whatever it is. Because that's it, ultimately. Now, if we're talking about folks who are switches and something about that they like, or it's a turn on, or it feels right to both of them to kind of, okay, I don't have an opinion about that, but I would not set a rule around sex or fuckery, because the body will do what the body will do, the life will do what the life will do, and it will not cooperate with your sex schedule. Sometimes it just won't. If a Dom cannot do what they've agreed to do, what they need to do is over communicate. The moment you know there's things going on. And quite frankly, if this was a submissive who was saying this, we're supposed to have sex twice a week and I didn't do it because I have personal stuff, I'd be like, there should be no consequence for that. Yeah. If there were consequence at all, it would be you didn't speak up soon enough so we could, I knew what was going on.
Right.
But that is not the same as your personal life or your work life or your physical health prevented you from doing this. There's no... What? This isn't like, speak in a respectful tone. Have my coffee ready by. Do this. There's... I think you have to walk a very fine line when we're talking about sex or fuckery or kink of any kind we're talking physical acts, because life will intervene.
Sure.
The whole person needs to want to consent to that, and there are all kinds of reasons why that's not going to work. But I'm stuck on why would the Dom, air quote, get in trouble for not initiating sex if the Dom has control over the initiation of sex?
Right. Yeah, it doesn't.
Assuming that's been negotiated, if it's
Mm-hmm.
a thing that's outside of their power exchange, then nobody gets punished for that because it's
Right.
outside the power exchange.
Exactly.
Maybe the course correction is you renegotiate. How do you make this easier? Do you negotiate that the submissive initiates, or does things that make it a little bit easier to, you know? And I don't, when I say does things make it easier to do, I mean things like, hey, can you take care of this chore I usually do, because if I have to do that, I'm not going to have time or energy for this. Can you handle a couple of things in the life department so to sort of make the path easier to getting fucked, right? Maybe you negotiate that. I don't know. I'm
Flummoxed.
I feel like a fuddy-duddy. I'm sure there is somebody out there that is like, this is not how we do this anymore. Okay, cool. I just think I do not set a rule around what the physical things you're going to do, how often you're going to do them. If you know you cannot meet the expectation or this would be nice to have for the time frame, you talk as much as possible. Doms get held accountable. Their accountability is if they fuck it up, they don't get to dom anymore. They don't get to be in charge of that thing or you as a person or the relationship. But what you're looking for from a dom who fucks up is a sincere apology and changed behavior.
Yeah.
And changed behavior is sometimes they just need to just not do that anymore or do that thing or whatever. But it is also and can also be, how do we renegotiate things within our life and our relationship so this is easier to do? What do we change so this doesn't happen again? How do we adjust for whatever? But if the agreement is that you'd have sex and there's no anybody can initiate, it's the dom who's initiating, then the dom is in control of that. The dom has some level of power and authority over that. So then the dom gets to decide when it's happening and if it's happening. And sometimes the kind of sucky part of submission sometimes is you want a thing to happen and your dom goes, it's not happening. I have control over this. You've given me control over this. If you don't want me to have control over this, then let's renegotiate and maybe do something different. But not there would be punishment. Like maybe I just need more details about how this rule works within the power exchange. Because what?
Yeah. It's wow.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. That's what I would say though. No, if it's something that a dom is in charge of, that means sometimes you get denied a thing you want. But also don't make rules around specific amounts of time or times of the week or whatever that you're going to do a thing that requires your physical body. Because the physical body will not, like sex or scenes or whatever. Set a nice to have, set a goal. This is what we would like to achieve. But then be really fucking realistic about life. That is what I would say on that. Anything you want to add on that one?
No.
Kim says, so the only way to hold the dom accountable is to leave the relationship. If they won't apologize and change their behavior, sometimes, what are you going to do? Put your dom in the corner? I mean, you could negotiate it. Look, in a power exchange, you can negotiate anything you want. And if a dom is willing to, like, do that, I'm not going to tell somebody they can't do that. But there's a level of authority, depending on how you negotiate your power exchange, that you grant a dom. So if they violate boundaries, they should not be doming you anytime soon, maybe ever again, right? That's a broken rule that a dom needs to follow. If they consistently won't do a thing they agreed to do, or why are we in this power exchange? Something needs to be renegotiated, or maybe this is not working. You see what I'm saying? Like, the air quote rules that a dom would break are the kind that will fuck up a relationship, right? They ignored a safe word. They're not checking in consistently. You're having the conversation. They're not apologizing when they do fuck up.
They're not following through. They're not being consistent.
They're not admitting that they made a mistake, right? They're trying to gaslight you into, I didn't fuck this up. You misunderstood. The kinds of things doms can do that would, air quote, break a rule are the kinds of things that will harm a relationship or a power dynamic or a person. So when something goes wrong, we have a conversation, we figure out what the hell happened. The Dom tells you what they tell you. They say, I won't do that again. I will put some things in place so that doesn't happen. Whatever. Can you, within your unique power exchange, negotiate that maybe a consequence? Let me say it again. You can. My brain cannot wrap around that, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. Mm-hmm. It just means no, I couldn't. I don't know how that would work, because the air quote rules JB has are to be my Dom and to be responsible for me, for the relationship, to do the things he agreed to do. Those are his rules. My rules are to do the things I agreed to do, but my rules are very specific. I make the coffee, I do the bed, I do the this, I do the that. His rules are keep me fucking safe, respect my boundaries. Yep. You know what I mean? So the accountability part is, yeah, maybe they're not your Dom anymore. That's what I would say. I'm not yelling at you, Kim. I got ranty. I'm sorry. And again, I think that it is reasonable for somebody to have a completely different perspective of what a rule is for a Dom, and then to define that differently. At this moment in time, my brain is not seeing it. By the way, maybe because of how our power exchange works, by the way, I understand power exchange to be. Because now when we're talking power exchange, we're talking a Dom versus a top. A top who's not been given necessarily any general authority over anything, but they're the doer or the giver or the whatever in the scene. Well, then we just don't do that scene. There's your accountability. Nope. We're not doing that right now or again. Whatever. But yeah. I mean, it does depend on how you've negotiated your power exchange. But if what the power exchange is for the Dom is broad authority over something, then their rules are kind of high level, specific, but they're about safety and care, mostly. It's not usually the rule is you'll give me 10 spanks with a wooden paddle, and if you don't, I give you 10 spanks. Like, I take your paddle away? That doesn't work in my brain.
You've been a bad Dom.
Yeah, no. Yeah, because when a Dom is a bad Dom, they are then an unsafe and irresponsible Dom. Like, I don't know. That's where I'm at on that one. Okay, good. Kim knew I wasn't yelling at her.
Okay.
I did raise my own blood pressure. Okay, we have one more.
Okay.
And I think this will be lighter hearted. I think so. It is shorter, if that counts. How to keep praise and verbal affirmation feeling meaningful in long-term dynamics. I want to start off by saying that I haven't been in a DS dynamic yet, but I got a little bit into overthinking mode yesterday, and I was wondering how those of you that have been in long-term dynamics keep things new and exciting in terms of praise / being verbal. I imagine that after a year or so of hearing the same phrases like, you feel so good, good girl, you take me so well, etc. over and over again, they might lose some of their impact. Like, you hear the words, but they don't hit the same way or feel as meaningful anymore. Does that actually happen? If so, how do you avoid that? As I said, maybe I'm just overthinking, but I'd really appreciate some insight from more experienced people. Look, overthinkers of the world unite, okay? I could see how you go down that mental rabbit hole. So, as a Dom who does lots of talking, both praise and dirty talk and degradation, and as a sub who likes to hear at least some of it, what say you?
How do you change it up? Get a thesaurus.
Well, here's the thing. No. Here's what I would say. If you were just saying good girl all the time over every little thing, yes, it will absolutely lose its impact.
Just like somebody who's, constantly says, I love you.
I was married to that. I got heard, I love you all the time. Saw no action, but I heard it all the time. And it does lose something.
It loses something when you hear it too much, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't help to think sometimes, with us, I think actions speak more than the words.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm trying to, But then again, one of the things that I do with this one, I thank her.
Mm-hmm. And I give you a weird look most
You do.
of the time.
You do. You do.
It might be my own trauma sneaking in there.
She when she helps me with stuff around the house,
Mm-hmm.
I always tell her, "Thank you for helping me. I appreciate the help."
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to tell me that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to know it. If you don't know it,
Right.
But I'm not constantly.
It's not every little thing. It's
No.
not every day, all day.
No.
It's like good girl. I love a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
In the obedience app, when I finally remember to check something, I do everything I'm supposed to. I forget to go into the app and check things off. But I get a good girl. Like, there's this little thing that pops up and it says good girl,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's a thing he could set. If you decide to use the obedience app, that's a thing
Right.
he could set. So technically, every day I actually remember to go into the obedience app. I get a good girl. But life happens, and so clearly we are not the only way of doing something, but I think we're probably typical in this way. Life happens, and so he's not always saying good girl, right? He's not, during sex, he's not always saying something. This man is a talker during fuckery, okay? He is... And I have very mixed feelings about it, but he's in control, and I go with it because I'm about to either get dick down or have my ass beat in the most delightful way. It's fine, okay? But just because that's a thing JB likes and enjoys and can get really into and does, and can be kind of sort of consistent about it, that still doesn't mean every time,
No.
right? He is very good at praise in general because he's very good at gratitude. He knows that even though I'm usually deeply uncomfortable with praise, because for some odd reason I'm like, what is happening? I also like it. It's a bit of a kink of mine. But he's found a rhythm within the way he conducts himself so that when it is said, it is meaningful. And in a way that's very subjective, because it could be he said, let's say, good girl, yesterday and today, and it hits both times. But yesterday was for something that was not fuckery or scene-ish or dicking down, and it was, a thing I did, and so there's that context, and that has that meaning. And then now he's like growling in my ear while he's holding me down, and I'm living for it, and he's saying it then within that context. And so even though there's been now a repeat, it means something completely different. It has a different, slightly different impact, and so I'm not getting tired of it. So I think many people are probably like that, where you kind of find rhythms. You don't say the same thing all the time. Look, I got impact kink, I got praise kink, I got my kinks, you've got your kinks. None of us get to indulge those kinks every single day. No. Or if we do get to do it consistently, it's rarely the same exact way every time. So that kind of praise is not happening every day, and it's not happening in the same way most of the time, and the context around it is different. And I have a feeling that is probably much more typical. Are there people who have to help themselves remember, oh yeah, I'm supposed to say these things? And can they go a little overboard and do it a little too often, or only do it within a specific context because that's what they can remember? 100%. And they're going to have to find tricks and ways to work around that to kind of vary it up. And it's going to be important for the submissive partner whoever is receiving that to have the conversation of, I love it when you say this, or I like this kind of thing, but here's how it's happening and it's losing some meaning for me. Can we try something different? I have a feeling many people might be a little uncomfortable saying, what do you mean I have to negotiate my praise? It's your fucking kink. It's a thing you want to hear and you like hearing it. If your partner is not giving you something in a way that they're trying to do something you like and it's not hitting for you consistently, have a conversation about it. You don't have to be a shit about it. Be respectful and kind, sure. But you get to say, hey, you keep saying it this way, and it's something. It's just, it's not doing it for me. Can we try something different? I would say if you're going to bring up that conversation, maybe do a little research. Or there's some other phrases that might work for you, or there's some other context in which you'd like to hear it that you're not hearing it, whatever it is. But I have a feeling that if people are using that naturally and they're not forcing the praise every chance they think they're supposed to, I don't think it does get old. I also think that, as long as at least one of you is open to learning new things and, whether that's reading or listening to podcasts or watching videos and hearing how other people do things, you take in ideas from the world around you, just like a little sponge. And so over time, you come up with different things because maybe you heard something or you read something. You went, oh, okay, I kind of like that. I'll try that, But yeah, I'm somebody who has a deep praise kink. I probably need to talk to a therapist about the value I put on myself to be a good girl. There's some stuff there. I don't hear it every day, and I don't feel like I'm lacking anything. When I hear it, it is meaningful. And I think for anybody who worries that they might say it too much or they might not say it enough, I don't know. For you, is it just a thing that you don't have to think about, you just say, or is it a thing you kind of have to
No, it's a thing I think about.
Okay.
Okay? Because I don't want to overuse it. For example, here's an example. I wash the laundry. Okay? And from whatever day I wash the laundry, you have till the middle of the week to put it away and fold it. Okay? If you wait till
Wednesday at 4:55?
Right.
Because the deadline's Wednesday at 5.
You did it, you came in under the wire, you ain't getting a fucking good girl.
And that, and here's the thing, because for a while that was my thing, and no, I did not. But you once watched me have a hellacious week, and I still managed somehow to get it done under the wire, and I did get a good girl, because context.
Of the circumstances.
Right, exactly.
Now again, if you fold the clothes and put it away on the same day I wash, yeah, that's a good girl.
If you notice, and see, that's the thing about that kind of the praise and why it's being said and when it's being said, because we're all human and we're not always 100% observant. Your dom is not going to be observant 100% of the time. Maybe in the beginning when it's new relationship energy, but like eventually you kind of calm the fuck down, and people are people, right? And so there was a long time I didn't like JB to know when I was folding laundry, whether I was ahead of my deadline or I just don't perceive me. And then I finally got into a habit where I was doing it earlier. And then I am like a little kid. I would be like, Daddy, did you notice anything? And poor man, he's looking around like, oh God, it's not her hair. I didn't know she was getting a haircut. What has changed, right? And that's not really fair, but it's playful between us. And I would point out. And so once I started pointing out, then he started looking.
Now, it's a point now that I know enough to look and see if the laundry basket is back where it sits.
And and when I say this, I'm not saying this is a criticism. I'm fine with this because I think this is how a long-term dynamic can use similar praise over the years and it still be effective. The past few weeks, Saturday or Sunday, excuse me, I've gotten that laundry done. He has not said good girl every single time. I have not pointed it out every single time. I don't care. I don't mind because I understand if he says it every time the same way, eventually it will lose its meaning, right? And when I say it'll lose its meaning, I won't even clock that it's happening.
Right.
I'll be like, okay, and that happens. It's not the worst thing in the world if you get like that, but that does mean that it's not necessarily meaningful. Now, there's an opposite-ish problem. If it goes too long without being said, you're either gonna miss it or you're not gonna realize you've been missing it until something happens. Maybe you finally get a good girl, or You hear somebody else get one, and you're like, oh shit, I haven't been told
I
that
haven't heard of that in a hot minute.
in years. Right. So I think for many people, maybe even most, there's kind of a natural flow with that kind of stuff. That yeah, there will be times it's not the praise or the sexy words or the whatever aren't said very often, and so then when they are said again, you're like, oh hot damn. And then there will be times where it's inconsistent, and I think I think it depends on who you are and how much you need to hear those things. We're at a point where I'm fine with it being inconsistent, because for me, that means when it does happen, I notice it. I know he always thinks it. I think that's the other thing too. The praise or the sexy thing, I know he's thinking it because we've been together long enough. I know if I don't hear it, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I don't take it as a he doesn't think I'm a good girl, or he doesn't want to growl that sexy thing in my ear. I don't take it that way because his actions and everything else expresses that. So I think if you have that as well, some form of that, it's fine. But yeah, the real concern is if you were just saying the same thing over and over again all day, every day. Yes, it loses its meaning. But I think the what are the words I want? The flow of life, because there's ups and downs. There's times that your head is not even on your fucking power exchange, no matter how hard you're trying to have it be. And life is coming at you and all this other stuff. You're not even thinking about that shit because you're not getting to do that shit. Which means that when you're back to saying it again, you're like, oh, this means good things. This means fuckery. This means whatever it means. And, since life sort of flows that way, I think some of that, I think it is not... I think it's an issue that an overthinker, and that's not a criticism, I'm an overthinker, would be thinking about. The what if, the oh my God, is this. I think in the natural course of just living your life, most of the time it's not really an issue. That's what I would say. But I've said so much today. Yeah. In kind of a hot, sticky room where the fan is... it's doing something, but not enough. Not enough. No. That was my last one.
Okay.
We can do a bonus section.
All right.
So yeah. Got this. The setup is so new and weird and different.
It is. So, are we good?
I have no fucking clue. I don't know. Keep it kinky, y'all. And we'll see you next week. As long as YouTube doesn't put us in the fucking corner again. Daughter.
Yes.
Can we talk to the crickets?
Sure.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I did a lot of talking.
You did.
My throat hurts. Oh, and Silent in the live chat said the accountability, how to hold your dominant accountable, was episode 57. That's a long time ago. That's a long time ago.
I'm going to go grab my water. I'm parched.
You didn't have... Oh, you didn't have it.
I forgot.
Oh, look at you. You got up and you didn't bang your own mic. Aw. Now the pressure's on.
Yeah, I know. Now I got to sit back down.
Yep. You got to sit back down. Can you do it?
Dun, dun, dun.
I have faith in you. Oh. Podcast listeners, you can't see it, but silly JB, I don't know if you shrank in fear. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was a little like excitement that, look, I don't know what that was, but that was something.
It was something.
That was something.
I don't even know what it was, but, I didn't hit the mic. That's all I know.
I'm very proud of you. Silent in the live chat says, episode 205 was how to hold each other accountable. It is possible, and she says, but that's not entirely the same thing. It is possible. I'd have to go back to that episode. We talked about accountability for a submissive, which can be consequences, but doesn't have to be, versus accountability for a dominant. So that's still, episode 205, we are on episode 4, hold on, I know this, 478? Yeah, 478. So, episode 205 was still several years ago. Yeah. On one level, accountability to me is very simple in my head for how I see it. But it also feels like a very squishy topic. So, I don't Yeah. Now that you've had an episode to be in this new setup,
Uh-huh.
are you noticing things you would adjust, or are we thinking this, for the most part, other than needing new mics, this is going well?
I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, it needs some tweaking along the way, but
And we're clearly not comfortable with, like, it's not our normal way, and we have to like create the normal way.
well, we have to get used to it.
Well, there's that. There is getting used to it, but there's also figuring out what will work.
Right.
And this is the first time, so we haven't figured out what will work, so we'll
Nope.
do things different for a while.
Mhm.
And the part of my brain that just wants to know what's supposed to happen next will not love that. I understand the process. I know why it has to happen, but I won't love that. I won't love that. Silent says I'm noticing things. Let me know what those things are. What do I got for the nope, not the bonus section. Lola's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's doing good.
Ella's good. Onyx is good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we did have a little bit of neighborhood cat drama.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Would you like to tell the story?
So, our neighbors, they moved,
Mm-hmm.
and their cat, they were
One
not
of their cats.
one of their cats, yeah, and well, I know I got lost. Anyway,
They moved.
they moved, and before they moved, they were not able to get this cat. This cat's an outside cat.
Yeah.
And so what it looks like is possibly going to, well, what was said at first was, somebody needs to put food out, feed the cat.
Because the people have moved. The neighbors have moved. The cat is still in the
Still here.
neighborhood. Right,
Yeah.
right.
So between me and Bestie Neighbor, we've been managing that, and she was telling me that the real estate agent was going to set a trap for the cat, and then, send it where it needs to be.
That's been my question this whole time. Was it going
Yeah.
up north with
As
the
far
neighbors
as
who
I
moved?
know, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, that's what I was understanding. Then this morning, I got a text that, no, the cat has been adopted by somebody here, and they're going to take care of it. And then 20 minutes later, I got a message, oh, nope, wrong cat.
And see, the person who was adopting, if this is the same thing you were telling me, the person who was, air quote, adopting the cat, wrong cat,
Mm-hmm.
they trap and neuter / fix or whatever, release the strays in the neighborhood so that we can have fewer strays. But they feed those strays as well. So the understanding that we had, I guess until, oops, no, not that one, was they were just going to lump them in with their strays and take care of them, get
Yeah.
them neutered, feed them, let them live on the street with the other strays that live on the street. And
We have so many cats in this neighborhood.
do.
So many cats.
Lots of orange cats.
Yes.
Somebody didn't get fixed fast enough, is
Right.
all I'm saying. 'Cause there are a lot of orange cats in this neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Some are very sweet and friendly, and some are not. So I guess that's not happening, and it was a different cat. And so we still are under watch for the cat.
cat.
That was so here's the thing. It was an outdoor cat, but it was an outdoor cat that would go home from time to time and would come inside. But
Yeah.
apparently we learned after the fact that the reason they were letting it outside was because it was spraying all over the inside
Right.
of the house that they've moved out of.
The cat was a male, had never been fixed. And
Big boy, too.
Yeah.
Big old cat.
Mm-hmm. Big old tabby.
So...
And, so they had all that to deal with, too.
So, yeah, I guess we're still on a little bit of feeding duty.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the agent is going to try and come
Apparently so.
trap?
I guess. I hope.
I don't know. I'm not going to go into detail about the next door neighbor stuff, but they were going through some stuff,
Yeah.
so I kind of understand it, but they were supposed to have family in town who's been helping them, so I don't really hold the person who lived there, the people who lived there, because of their situation, responsible. There were some precarious things. The family that was supposed to have been helping them, supposedly, to me, they're the ones who have done fucked up. Because what do you mean you didn't, take the cat or pay attention to the cat?
I will say this, okay? In some cases, the cats, when they see a lot of activity, the pod was brought in, furniture is being moved, people are in and out.
I know, and
that in itself can stress.
I know. But I'm also thinking of the family that had been living here and coming by every so often and helping out, and they just left a cat that was spraying all over this house and did not try to find some solutions. What we will not be doing is telling our previous neighbor who used to own that house the state that her old house has been left in.
I know.
Oh, no. We see her every so often, and nope, we won't talk about that. No, the people who lived there, their situation, it was a sad situation. There was lots of bad stuff going on for them. So I don't judge them for anything at all. I'm just thinking about the family members who apparently part of the reason they moved into this house where they did was so their family would help them, and then their family was not helping them.
Well, no. They lived way out in the forest.
Right, they came in because she was...
Because both of them...
Right,
poor health. And her husband had poor health, and they wanted to be closer to doctors.
Right.
The one relative that was the one that came to help them, they didn't want the help from that person. But that was the only person who...
Could help. Or would help.
Or whatever, yeah.
Right.
So.
And yet, once it started being the pack-up thing, I know the one vehicle that came down that was driving them up to where they're living. I got that. There were a lot more vehicles that finally started showing up right as they were about to leave.
That one vehicle, excuse me, was not there for any of that.
I did notice that too.
Yeah. Those people were not there for any of that.
Yeah. So. It's a tough situation for them.
It is.
But, so now we potentially just have a new stray in the neighborhood. So.
We have so many strays.
I know.
And, there were a few cats. When we first moved here, there were a few cats. Now it's like...
It's gone in cycles since we've moved here. Because there were a few, and then it exploded. And then it dropped back down.
Right.
Currently, when I'm going on my morning walks, it used to be I saw 4 or 5 cats every day. There are days I don't see a single cat out there. Yeah. So I don't know if they're running off. I don't know if they're dying off. I don't know if they've gone deeper into the woods. We've got coyotes.
Yeah.
Who knows what's happening to those?
I thought that was a cat this morning. Remember I said it was a Maine? I thought I saw a Maine.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it might have been a fox.
Could have been. Yeah, because there's tons of construction going on around here, and a lot of trees coming down, and so the wildlife that was their home, and now they're trying to.
They just come in here and they just doze everything down.
We're fortunate we're near a national forest, so that part at least is not.
Right.
But anything that is not national forest is fair game.
Yeah.
So, it's upset the local wildlife for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because then people are like, oh, no, there's coyotes. I'm like, yeah, because you took their fucking habitat from them. And now they're trying to find a place to go. And they're hungry.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I heard on the radio, and I'd seen something about this online, the specific city we live in, percentage-wise, has had last year was the fastest growing city in the U.S.
I know.
But, in sheer numbers, because it is a small area, it's not like millions of people. We had 15,000 people move in, but percentage-wise, it was the top. So yeah, in other cities they had 50,000, they had 100,000, but they were already real big.
Right.
But 15,000 to our area, traffic has gotten really bad. It's really noticeable.
Oh yeah.
And we've got more car washes and storage unit companies, which is actually a sign that a city is growing.
Well,
which is so strange.
You know, you're going to get me started. You're going to get me started. You're going to get me fired up.
He goes full old man yelling at clouds or yelling at kids to get off his lawn over it. I don't disagree with you. I think it's funny.
I mean, no. That's, I watch the way they are building like this. And back in the year 1999, we had such severe drought in the state of Florida. Okay, that is what helped run me out of my lawn business.
Yeah, you've told me that.
Because they were so strict on the water restrictions. Okay, nothing has changed. We still don't have more water. We haven't produced more water. There's actually less. And more people are moving here.
I know. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
There's been a whole thing. My algorithm has showed me a lot more Florida content because I've been following more Florida content. And Tampa, Hillsborough, massive restrictions on water right now. They're back to what they've done in the past.
Yeah. We are in a point where we are experiencing another drought. We never really fixed anything from the last drought.
Sure.
And now we're overpopulating. We have one community here is bragging they want to. Sorry, folks. They want to stretch from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah, the villages, right?
Yeah. They want to be so big. They want to go coast to coast.
And I promise you, if somebody can figure out how to let them do it, they will.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting ridiculous. I know it's not just here. I know they're not just doing it here. I heard the same thing about Puerto Rico now.
Oh yeah, a coastal place, of course. Yeah,
they're tearing down the rainforest and building all along the beaches. So
they paved paradise to put up a parking lot. We're literally watching parking lots go up in our downtown area.
Yeah.
That's made the streets narrower. There's parking lots and they're all paid. And not a human works in them. You better have that app or scan that QR code or whatever it is. Yeah.
I am not against progress. You need progress. You have to have progress. Sure. But it's got to be done sensibly, and nothing has been that way here. So
we still somehow live on the quiet side of town.
True.
For now.
For now. And I'm very grateful for that because, we left the Tampa Bay area because it was so overcrowded. It was unaffordable. And we came up here, and we did. The area out around 200 was busy. Yeah. But now, now it's like a parking lot.
Ooh, I hit my mic that time.
It's like a parking lot out there.
But the thing is, you got to remember, we move for affordability. So do a lot of people. They either come from up north down, they're coming for the sunshine. We are a fast growing area, so you still kind of get the feel of country. But
yeah, I know. A starter home here now is priced at $300,000. Starts at $300,000.
When we were looking, started looking in 2018, 2019, starter home was still like $150,000, $175,000. Yeah, a lot has changed in the past few years for everyone everywhere.
Right.
So.
Oh, but yeah. I mean, other than that, we've been doing good. I've been doing a lot of yard work.
When you're not doing a lot of making shit for
Kinkery, yeah.
Kinkery.com. And then handing it off to me. I have stacks and stacks of things.
We got the front yard cleaned up from all the winter detritus. And this afternoon I did the backyard.
Yesterday afternoon, or did you do more today?
I mowed backyard yesterday.
Right. Oh, you did other stuff today?
I wasn't able to go all the way to the back because with our tree line, there was so many branches and twigs and stuff. Didn't want to run over with the mower and tear it up, but so I got all that cleaned up today after I finished out in the shop.
Gotcha.
And Lola was helping again. She was out there.
She's a very good helper.
Yeah, she was, supervising along,
Mm-hmm.
sitting there on the porch watching me.
Making sure you didn't screw it up.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She's become quite a good supervisor.
Yes. JB was on the floor in here in the office where we record.
Yeah.
He had to get on the floor to unhook some stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
Lola just got right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure you're doing this correctly.
Yeah.
Silence out here trying to hurt everybody's feelings. In live chat, she says, I don't want to hurt anyone, but 2018 was almost 10 years ago. Almost, but not actually.
Not quite.
Come on now. Whew.
Almost, but not quite.
My brain still thinks, every time I think, oh, COVID was a few years ago. Well, COVID was 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
Or the start of COVID, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, what? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean that was 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Time has no meaning.
No.
So, yeah. That's us. New setup.
Yeah.
Same chaos. New chaos, because now it used to be I was the one that banged the microphone. Now
Yeah,
you get to do it too. Somehow I have a feeling that within the next probably 24 to 48 hours, I will be given a link of the appropriate mics to purchase and be told, make this happen
Yeah.
as soon as possible. I
Yeah,
feel like that's coming.
This is not working as good as I had envisioned it.
No, yeah.
I mean, I know Silent mentioned maybe just the one mic in the center.
Yeah, but you have us on two separate volume
Yeah.
lollies. Because I'd be shocked. I'm louder.
Yeah.
So JB turns himself up and he turns
And
me down.
I did try.
It was worse.
That was worse. We were really.
For podcast listeners, is moving the mic from one side of him to the other side of him.
We were really bonking into everything when we had them both in the center. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think the lavaliers are going to be the way to go.
Yeah, and I've been
Just need to figure out everything to get for it.
Sure. Yeah, I started researching those sometime last year, maybe year before. Time has no meaning. I don't know. Because this changing things up has been on my list for a hot ass minute.
I know it has.
And here we are,
Mm-hmm.
changing things up. Hopefully for the better. That is the plan.
Right.
So
we should probably go.
I know.
It's almost time for me to feed the fur babies.
I can hear them in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Also, as comfortable as these chairs are,
Mm-hmm.
After almost 2 hours, a little less comfortable.
And see, You're
feeling good?
I feel okay.
Look, your back and the pain that you experience is way more important than like one of my butt cheeks being asleep. So it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is still better than the chair we had before.
Yes, absolutely.
And ultimately, that's what matters.
Yeah,
This is better than we had before.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, this was bound to happen. We didn't stream or record last week.
Right.
Our Friday night live stream got so y'all know I take a break and then I can't shut up. And I didn't want to. I narrowed down the Reddit posts. Like I pulled up. Oh my god, I had like 15 pulled up, and then I weeded it out.
Oh my goodness.
And I could have, got us down to less, but I was like, nope, I don't want to. So I didn't. And here we are.
Here we are. All
But
right.
yes, we are going to go.
Mhm.
Thank y'all for being here.
Yep.
Especially to the bitter end.
Mm-hmm. And appreciate y'all putting up with our
Antics.
new insanity around here
Mhm,
till we kind of iron things out.
Yep. And hopefully, YouTube's not an asshole.
Yeah.
And we'll be back like normal next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. This is not